Hey gamers, today we're going to look at New Bedford, as well as the expansions Rising Tide and White Whale. Let's check it out. To set up the game, you're going to have your little player board here. It's going to come with two meeples, two ships. There are two different sizes. The size doesn't matter on this. It's just to tell the two apart. You'll have your own little wheel token here, and starting player will get the steering captain's wheel here. You lay out your city board here, which is one big tile, and even though I didn't do it, you lay out all your little building tiles. There's a huge stack of them, and you put them out here on the board or somewhere around the place. I just kind of put it here just to compact everything in one little area. Here you're going to have the dockyard and the city pier, and you're going to have your little whale token here. This is going to be a round tracker. You're going to put it round 1. All players are going to start with $5 worth of any type of good that they want. For instance, you have food, wood, brick, and coin. Now, brick and food and brick are worth 2 coins. So $5 worth of stuff would be like if I wanted to get 1 brick, 1 wood, one food and 1 coin. Or maybe I wanted to get 2 food and a brick, or 2 bricks and a coin. You just get $5 worth of stuff. Again, bricks and food are worth 2 points or 2 coin, and wood is worth 1. So each player gets random whatever they want to start off with their goods. They put in their shipping goods, and we're ready to start the game. Now this is simple worker placement is what it is. You're going to take one of your 2 meeples. You're going to place it in any 2 areas, either here in the city or here on the dockyard and city pier. First off, let me go over some of the city actions here. They are very simple. If you place here, you get to sell any of your goods that you've collected. First person here will get a $1 extra on the goods they sell. Over here at the farm, you get 2 food. First person to place there will get 3. Here at the warehouse, everyone gets a brick, and the first person to place there gets a brick and another item of their choice. And in the forest, everyone gets 2 wood for placing a meeple here, and the first player, of course, gets a bonus of 3. The townhouse here is used to build some of these buildings that you see down here with some of the resources that you've gathered. And of course, the first player to place in the town hall will get a -1 on any of those resources. So for instance, let's say I wanted to build the refinery and I only had 2 brick. Well, if I was the first person to place a meeple there, I could afford this. I'd pay my 2 brick, flip this over, and move it on my side of the city. Now, your side of the city is dictated by your little steering wheel. Now, blue and black look very similar in this game, which kind of complaint of mine. But anyway, you would put this down, signifying that this is your side of town. So you'll be building, blue player will be building tiles here, maybe reds here, yellows here, and so on and so forth. But that's how you determine what part of the city is buildings that you have built. And the reason that's significant is, from now on, if any other player wants to play on your side of the city, they have to pay you a coin for each tile that they put a worker on. Doesn't seem like much, but it does add up, because money is a little bit tight in this game. Now, in addition, at the end of the game, all the buildings you build are worth 1 victory point each. That's another reason you want to build. Plus, the buildings are really good, much better than the base actions here on the board. So if you, that's the city there. If you wanted to place a meeple over here in the dockyard or city pier, 2 things will happen. First off, at the dockyard, if you see here, you can prepare one of your ships for 2 wood. Or if you're the first person there, you can do it for 1 wood. So I could go here, if I was the first person there, pay 1 wood, and then put any one of my ships right here on the dock. Now after that, if maybe on another turn I had this meeple available, I could place on the city pier, and then I could launch this ship. And if you see, you can launch it for X amount of food. How much food you have. The food tokens are here 1 through 6. So depending on how many food tokens I pay, determines how far I can go out. However, the first person to play there will get a -1 requirement on the food length. So for instance, if I paid 3 food, that's all I had, well, I could actually go to the 4 because I get a -1 on launching it. So I would go here. Now, the first person to get there will go to first player here, second person would go there, third person would go there, and let's say at the end of the round it looks like this. Well, once every player has put out their meeples, what you're going to do is you're going to go whaling, and you're going to have this whale bag with a bunch of whale tokens in there. And there are 3 types of whales that you could pull from. You have your sperm whales, your right whales, and your bowheads, I believe is what they're called. And they're worth various amounts here. And you'll just pull some random out of the bag here. And then starting in the order of the person who is furthest out and in the first position, they'll get to pick. And then so on and so forth. So it'd be yellow, orange, and then black here. Now, when getting these, you would place it on your little player board, either in your small ship or your large ship, whichever one caught it. And like again, there's no difference between the ships. They just had to show the sizes so you could tell them apart, because you could have 2 ships out. I could have a large ship and a small ship. I need to make sure I put what I got from my small ship and what I got in my large ship in their holds here. And of course you see there are holds for each type of whale. Now you can collect as many whales as you want to, but when you get to shore finally at the end of the turn, when you come back to shore, you're going to have to pay the cost that you see associated with each one of these whales. So the smallest ones are 2, where the largest ones are 8. So you need to make sure you have the money. If you don't have the money, they just go up on the market for other players to buy. Why would other players buy the whales that you caught? Well, if you see these barrels, those are going to count for victory points at the end of the game. So you can do that. Again, let me just show the player board here. It shows where you have stored goods. Any whales that you've returned go here. And once per turn, you may, without using a worker, pay 3 coin to get 2 wood or 2 food. Another tile that's in the deck, and there's a lot of these, are just ocean tiles. This is nothing. Bumpkus. 0, zilch. So in this example, if I drew 1 of each whale and then a water token, these players may grab it all, and these 2 players would get nothing. They'd get nothing because water is worth nothing. Water is the only thing that goes back into the bag. So as you're picking through this, as the game goes on, there's going to be less and less whales here and more water. So it kind of makes it very thematic. Anyway, after everyone has sailed, you move all the ships up closer to the shore, and any ones that return go back to the player's player board. Then you'll move the round marker down 1, and you'll back up your workers and start again. You'll just pass the first player token to the next player and go again. Now the game ends when you get to the 12th round. At the 12th round, then you add up all the points from barrels on your whales, victory points for each city or building that you build, and whoever has the most points wins. Now in the Rising Tide expansion, it adds a 5th player to the deck, so you can play with 5 players now. And it also gives you some new tiles for those 5 players. It gives you a new starter map for the 5 players, this big thing here. So you see there's 5 points for all players to build their cities out. The new building on a 5-player game is called the wheelhouse. Instead of passing around first player, now first player goes to whoever placed here last. So this is where you get the first player one, and the first person placed there will get an additional 3 coins. The expansion also comes with a ship's log. You got omens and you got providence cards in here. And what you do, instead of taking, let's say in that example again, that all I had to take was a water token. I was last there. Man, I don't want a water token, so instead of taking that, I can take a ship's log card. Now, ship's log cards do different things in the game, maybe during a round or at the end of a round, or even score you victory points at the end of the game. Just various things. They're very self-explanatory, but something you can grab instead of getting a whale token. Or maybe you know, hey, I can't afford another whale in my hold. I don't have enough money to afford it when they get home, so let me get a ship's log instead. So that's really neat. Rising Tide's really cool. Then finally you got the White Whale promo. Basically it's not really an expansion, maybe a mini expansion. As you see, I haven't played with it yet, but it's basically just 4 extra tokens that do various things. And that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, that's basically it. New Bedford is an easy, simple, straightforward worker placement game. It's got nice pieces. It's got a nice theme. It's true to history, where they were big into whales and whale hunting, and now there are no whales there. Kind of a sad history there, but it is historically correct, and it fits in a small little box, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I should mention, do you need the expansions? Well, first off, the Great White Whale, little mini expansion, no, you don't really need it. I haven't played with it yet even. Rising Tide, I'm torn. You don't need it, I don't think. I played the game once with the base game and then included Rising Tide. And I will play with Rising Tide forever. Not because I need a 5th player, but those ship's log cards you can get instead of getting a whale. A lot of times you will use those cards, even if there are whales available, because you're like, man, I can't afford to get any more whales. I want to get a card. And so for that reason, and the new buildings are nice too. I like the new buildings and everything that come with it, but I do love Rising Tide. But do you need it? No, I think you can enjoy the game as a base game on its own. I don't know how much this cost. I think I got this for relatively cheap with the expansion included in it. I'm sure you could probably find both for relatively cheap if you just could get the base game, and that may be good enough for you. If you want to get Rising Tide, then definitely go for it. The little White Whale promo thing, I've never really played with it, so I can't really tell you. But it's there if you want it. All right, folks, that is it for now. So until next time, game on.